Okay. For today's demo, a few things you're gonna want, hopefully. You should have a pencil, this piece of paper, a ruler, and then there should be sharpeners out on your desk here. In this demo, we're gonna talk about connections. You need to have all 10 or however many forms your class is doing. They need to be connected somehow, some way. So I'm going to show you 3 different options of types of connections you can do. You can do other options if you have questions, but I'm just going to go over 3 here. So you have 3 forms already set up. We have vanishing point 1 and vanishing point 2 already attached to your page here. First connection we're going to do is I'm going to put in a ladder right here. I want it to look like it's leaning up on this form and resting, the bottom of it resting on this form. So I am just going to line the edge of my ruler up with this vertical center line of that form. And I'm going to pull it away and angle it a little bit so it looks like that ladder is leaning up on this top form here. And once I get it where I like it, I'm going to add in that line. You should be drawing much lighter than I'm drawing for good practice here. So that is one edge of my ladder. I want to add one more edge. So I'm going to line my ruler up to that first edge I just made. Up to you, the width of your ladder. You can make it really skinny. You can make it a medium, or you can make it really wide, okay? I'm gonna make mine just like a normal average ladder. I'm gonna kick it out just a little bit more. I'm gonna draw in my second line for my ladder very lightly. I want to make sure that this back portion, this back line of my ladder is in fact going back in correct perspective here, and I'm going to base it off of my front ladder piece. So the front ladder piece is how tall I want it to be. Things that are getting further away from us are getting smaller, right? So the back edge of this form is getting smaller. The same thing would happen to my ladder. The back edge of that is going to become smaller. So I'm going to take the top of this right line and the bottom of this right line, the side of my ladder, line it up to the vanishing point 1 and to the top of my ladder there. And then I'm just going to make a little slash mark. That is where the top of that back portion, the left side of my ladder, should be. I'm going to go ahead and erase the itty bitty top. And then I'm going to check the bottom here too. So I'm going to take the bottom right line, the bottom piece of my ladder. I'm going to do it this way so you can see. I'm going to line it up to the bottom of that into my vanishing point. And I'm going to make a light mark here to see where that should stop. So this is pretty close. It's a little bit longer. I'm going to erase the edge of that and then cut out that guideline. Only other thing that I need to do here for the ladder is add in the rungs, or those bars that you climb up, right? Those are called rungs on the ladder. So you're just going to make little dots along the edge here. Up to you how many you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And feel free to make your dots a little bit smaller. That way they're not as noticeable. And I'm still going to line up my ruler to that first dot for my rung, and then to vanishing point 1 over here. Line it up. I line it up? No, I did not. There we go. Draw it in. Boom. There's one. And you're going to do that all the way down for however many rungs you'd put on your ladder. 2. I'm just lining up each dot I made to vanishing point 1. That way each bar is going back into correct perspective, okay? So you can see them all start to angle towards that vanishing point. Why are we only using vanishing point 1? Why are we not using vanishing point 2? We are on this left half of this form. Our ladder is only leaning on that. It's not leaning on this right half. So I don't need to use vanishing point 2. If you wanted to make your ladder look three-dimensional, we could start to take that back towards vanishing point 2. Could add that little edge of my ladder, because then we would be seeing that edge, right? I could add that in, add in a parallel between my two little converging. Boom. And I could do the same for over here. You don't need to do that. I'm just looking for a very basic ladder. If you feel like you struggle with 2-point perspective, you're like, oh my gosh, this is awful, I really am not having a good time, a ladder may be a good connection for you. It's pretty simple and quick to do, okay? So a ladder may be your buddy. Another option here is we're going to make a tube. Super simple, even more simple than the ladder. I'm going to make a little frowny face shape, and then a little smiley face shape. And I could make a really simple tube. I'm going to make mine kind of curvy here, heading towards that other curvy line. I've made my top portion, my frowny face, part of my tube smaller because I feel like it's back further in space. And I've moved this line up closer to us, and I've made it a little bit bigger because things that are getting closer to us are much bigger. Things that are getting further away get smaller, okay? That's all you need to do for the tube. You could make your tube crazy, right? You could add in a spiral or something. I could take that piece down. Shoom. Voila. Whatever kind of tube you want. And again, if you feel like you're really struggling with 2-point perspective, a tube might be your buddy here. What's going to be hard about the tube that's not super hard about the ladder is shading it accurately. So when you get ready to add in your light source to your project, you have to think about how is the light hitting that, okay? What's going to be getting darker? What's going to be getting lighter? Because this is a curved object, right? So that is the tricky part of the tube. Much simpler to draw than the ladder, way less steps, but you do have to shade accordingly, okay? So pick and choose your battles here. Maybe you're slacking a little bit, really bad at 2-point, but you're great at shading, use the tube. Maybe you're decent at 2-point perspective, but you feel like you're shading not that great, do the ladder, okay? These two will be your friends. Last one here that I want to do is I'm going to make some stairs over here. I find it much easier to make the form, so I'm going to make a cube and then kind of chisel or cut my stairs out of that. You can kind of freehand the stairs and then build it off of it, but I like setting up kind of like a guideline box that contains my stairs. So what I'm going to do is I am going to draw a line, just like we've been doing, drawing that center line for my form, where I want kind of the front of my stairs to be. And you are drawing much lighter than I am. The height I'm picking here is not just for the first step, it's for the entire height. So if I wanted a really tall staircase to go all the way up here, I would want to draw that line up, okay? But I'm only going to do 2 steps. And then just like you've been doing with 2-point perspective, we're going to take the top of this line and the bottom of this line to vanishing point 2 and to vanishing point 1. We are using 2 points to make that perspective. Take the bottom of it over to 2. And again, if you're more comfortable drawing it all the way over, by all means, please do that. I'm just chopping mine off a little bit sooner, taking the top back over there. And I'm doing the same thing to vanishing point 1. Lining my ruler up to vanishing point 1 and the top of that line for my form. Lining the bottom of that line up to the vanishing point. And join that in. Now I need to add in my parallels here to make it a closed form, right? Right now it's open. So we want to steal from that center line, lining my ruler up, I'm pulling it over, chopping it off in space. Same thing on the other side, lining my ruler up, pulling it over, there you go, chopping it off in space. If you have extra lines, get rid of them. Okay. I'm only going to make 2 steps here, so I'm going to have a bottom step and then a top step. What you need to do is lay out where you want your steps to be. So I just want to have one, and I want them to be roughly the same size, so I'm just going to cut that in the middle. So I'm making a mark saying this is where I want my first step to be, and the second one's going to be above it. Similar to what we did with the ladder, we are going to take that point back towards our vanishing points. This time though, we see the side of it and the front of it, where the ladder we were just working with the front of it. So I need to take this point I made to both vanishing point 1 and to vanishing point 2. Lining that up, drawing that in. I'm doing it the opposite direction, lining it up to that point, to my vanishing point, and drawing it in. Next thing I want to do here is I'm going to add in a vertical line that is parallel to that middle point. And again, I want my stairs to be mostly even, so I'm going to just cut it in the middle here. For you, use a ruler. Try and do it so you can see here. I'm going to go ahead and erase out this back line because I want my stairs to look connected. And I'm going to erase this line and this line. If you're feeling comfortable enough, you could also take out these 2 lines. I've drawn dark enough, so hopefully you can still see that original guideline. Ooh. I'm going to go ahead and take that out just so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. So we're going to see the top portion just a little bit of that staircase because it's below our horizon line. If I line up my ruler to my vanishing points, our horizon line is cutting through right around there. So anything below that, we're going to see the top of it. Anything above that horizon line, we'll see the bottom of it, right? See the top of it and the bottom of it. Anything on that horizon line, we won't see the top or the bottom of it. We'll just see the sides. So I'm going to take this corner back towards my vanishing point 2 to start making the top of that little staircase piece. And then I want to take this corner back to vanishing point 1. It's going to be very thin. There we go. Top piece of my stairs. So back here we've made a little corner. Corner. I know it's hard to see. So where those 2 lines cross, just like this top piece here, making that top piece of our stair, that's the corner. So we want to go ahead and draw another vertical line parallel. We're not going to see the top of this stair because it's on that horizon line, but I'm still going to take this top corner to my vanishing point 1, line it up, draw that line in. And that is the process you'll repeat for stairs. You could do way more. You could make yours skinnier. I could have laid out a couple stair pieces. I could have taken it all the way up to the top here, but that is the formula you will follow to make your stairs, okay? This one is a little bit more of a challenge. It really looks cool though when you start getting going with stairs. I've seen some really nice stairs going up. If you feel like you're struggling with 2-point perspective, maybe lean in this direction. And again, you're not limited to these if you wanted to do a slide, some linked chain pieces, what have you. More than welcome to. We can talk about it, test some things out, okay?